What's going on, guys? It's Lark here. Today we're going to be talking about the Bankera ICO, banking for the blockchain era. So we're going to be having a look at it, look at what they're trying to do, what their sort of roadmap is, who their team is, what the, how you can get involved in the ICO if you do want to get involved in the ICO, what the cons are, and just really trying to think, is this something to get involved in or not? Quick shout out, as always, to everyone who is hitting that like button and subscribing down below to the channel, guys. I really love all that support, guys, so thank you so much. And of course, quick disclaimer, this is not professional financial advice. This is just one dude and his passion for all things crypto related on the internet. And disclaimer number 2, because this is an ICO review, I do have to mention Bankera is not paying me, guys. I'm not getting paid to do this review. I'm just doing this because this is what you guys have been requesting recently. So we're going to be looking at Bankera today. And actually, I think tomorrow we're going to be looking at Change as well, which is another very exciting project. So, tune in tomorrow if you want to see the ICO review for Change coming up as well. Let's get into it. What does Bankera want to do? Bankera wants to open a digital bank. So not a brick and mortar bank. There will be no Bankera office to visit. Well, I guess there will be technically a room full of, programmers sitting around in Lithuania somewhere. But in general, this project is going to be fully based online. Now, this is already, parts of it are already working through the SpectroCoin website. The founders of SpectroCoin are the guys who are doing Bankera. So they're taking their, Bitcoin exchange to the next level. And they want to offer full-on banking services on the blockchain. That's pretty exciting stuff. It's pretty exciting stuff. So they want to do, all the basic payment stuff you would want to do. So the international bank accounts, they've got debit cards. You can have a look here real quick at their debit card. So they've already got a debit card, again, through SpectroCoin. Later, this will say Bankera on it. Now, the SpectroCoin debit card, not super awesome. I got to be honest. If you look at like 10x, for example, way better rates and lower fees and all that. Even the card itself, costs, well, I guess this card is a little bit cheaper, but the fees are higher overall. So, it's not terrible by any means. This is pretty comparable to a regular bank card, to be honest. But I think 10x has got the superior card in that regard. Something to think about. Something to think about. Continuing. So, they've already got the international bank account number, bank accounts infrastructure ready, and that's already existing with SpectroCoin. They'll give a lot of cash options to deposit cash, but also to get cash out. So they want to have a lot of partnerships with, other banks, for example, actual brick and mortar banks. You can walk in and, make a deposit. Or they even said, farther down the line, actually looking at, okay, they go to somewhere in South America, or if they're working in Africa, for example, in these countries, and if you guys have ever visited any of these places, or you're from some of these places, you'll know things don't always work the way they do in, first world countries. You can go down to, your local corner store and, make a deposit. They'll have Western Union and 20 other payment services there, and Bankera might simply be one of those. Yeah, I want to put $50 in my Bankera account, and you go and you give $50 to the guy in the corner store, and he puts it in your account for you with a small fee, of course. So that's one thing they're looking at as a way to bring, their banking service to more people, for people who want to, get fiat in and maybe get crypto out, for example. So that's pretty cool. They're looking at supporting 22 fiat currencies from the get-go. Of course, all the major ones and a few others. I suppose they didn't list every single fiat that they're planning on supporting in their white paper. They did, of course, mention, the big ones, the euro, the pound, the dollar, etc. But they've got the plans for 22. I imagine it would mostly be European currencies, the ruble and the Swiss franc and the Turkish lira and things like that. So they've also got loans and deposits. So if you want to take a loan from Bankera, you will be able to do that. So say, for example, you want to take a loan for your house, right? And you need some collateral. Well, you can deposit 5 Bitcoin and they'll give you some collateral. Or sorry, they'll give you, that will be your collateral, and they'll give you money on that. So That's pretty interesting. That's a nice idea, and I think it gives them, you know, a unique selling point in that way. So if you do have a look through their white paper here, that's lawn. We're gonna get to that in a second. But if you have a look at their white paper, you know, they've got some pretty realistic numbers as far as what they want to do in their growth, for example. Here we go. So look, they're only expecting to get about $11 million in revenue in the first year. That seems pretty realistic to me. And, you know, they're hoping to do $500 million plus within 10 years. That also seems pretty realistic. I kind of appreciate that. You know, there's so many companies that just say, well, we're going to make $1 billion tomorrow. $500 million for a bank doesn't seem all that big, to be honest. You know, a few big loans and half that money's gone already. So, realistic enough numbers, we could say. Now, one thing to keep in mind, they are a very Eurocentric business. They are starting off in the EU, and, you know, maybe by 2027 they'll be in, you know, a lot of countries. But they are starting off in the European Union only. So UK, you know, you guys in your Brexit, you had to get out. You can't take you know, part of using Bankera's bank now. But, you know, they're looking at getting involved in, you know, Canada, the US, the UK, and so on and so forth. But they are only starting in the EU. That is something you need to keep in mind as well. Okay, let's get around to having a look at the team here. So for the team, we have got this fella over here. Vytautas. I'm not even gonna go for the last name. Vito, I've seen someone calling him for short. So Vito is the CEO of Bankera and the co-founder of Spectro. So he's the driving force behind it. He's the one who already got Spectro going, and he is, of course, pushing to get Bankera going as well. Now, there has been some rumor of him being a scammer and stealing 100 Bitcoin from somebody at some point through Spectro Coin. It was, yeah, I would not take that at any serious value, but if you do, you know, put in, you know, Bankera scam into a Google search, that is what you'll come back with. You know, people who are saying that Spectro Coin stole their money, and God, who knows, guys? Who knows? I don't really believe these accusations. When I see them, I look at that and I think, well, probably either, well, they actually posted back, Bankera posted back and said, and posted a bunch of pictures. Here's the evidence of this guy trying to blackmail us, so that he stopped, you know, to get him to stop posting Bankera as a scam all over the place. So you really have to take that with a grain of salt, guys. You know, I personally don't see it. I personally don't see that that kind of stuff's going on. Otherwise, people like Lon would not be involved. You don't think that they researched these people before they put their name behind it? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think so, guys. You know, these guys would have done their due diligence. You know, the last thing that NEM needs in this early stage of its development is to be linked to an obvious scam if Bankera was to be a scam. So I really don't think that's the case. But you will see that around the internet if you do go looking for it. So take that as you want, guys. Now, Lon is also involved in the project here. Now, you might think, well, gosh, he's an advisor. What the heck does that mean? You know, they just always plaster some guy who's more famous than theirs face onto the white paper, and we're supposed to, you know, think that's something cool. Well, let's go over here to Lon's Twitter feed. He actually posts about Bankera quite a bit. So he says, yes, I am working with them. Yes, I'm promoting them. Yes, I'm advising them. He says all the rewards that I will get as an advisor to Bankera are going to be donated to NEM. So it's real. He's really working with them. He's actually promoting them. He's been an advisor with them. So that's legit, guys. And that to me helps, you know, lend a lot of credence to their project. So that's nice. Okay, if you do want to get involved in the ICO, the pre-ICO is still going. Only a few $100 million left, guys. You can currently get them for 0.017 euro cents a piece. Well, I guess actually 0.016 euro cents a piece. So they're still going. You can still get over there and buy them. If you do want to participate in the pre-ICO, in order to do that, you have to go to the Spectro Coin exchange. because Bankera is their company, they're running the ICO through their exchange. So you go over there and follow the instructions. It's really, really easy to participate if you do want to participate. So what bonus will holding a Bankera token give you? Well, you can use it as, if you use Bankera tokens on Bankera, you can actually get a discount on services. So that's great. There is a 20% dividend that will be paid to Bankera holders, which is pretty cool. Now, obviously, you have to, considering that there's going to be 10 billion Bankera, which is, or just going to be issued during the ICO, you may not get very big rewards, but, you know, if they're doing 500 million a year in business, you might see, you know, a little bit of money coming in if you're holding, you know, 1 million Bankera, for example, which isn't a huge number by any means. Of course, the real value will come is if they can actually get their project going and, you know, it goes from 1 euro cent to 10 euro cents. Well, then you're really winning. And I'm not sure that the rewards payout of the 20% dividend would be such a big thing considering how many tokens are going to be issued. That's something to think about. 20% of the tokens will be held up to fund Bankera, so they'll have them kept, and the fees and the payouts basically from that 20% of the tokens will go towards, you know, paying staff and development and all these different things. So that's how they're going to fund their project. Pretty good idea, of course. Okay, there is a 10 billion coin hard cap for the pre-ICO and the ICO together. If the hard cap is not reached, any remaining tokens will be distributed to the people who have already invested into that ICO. Again, if that was to be of any real benefit to you, you'd have to be holding a pretty substantial amount of Bankera. If you spend over 1,000 euros in the ICO, you'll get a free card. It's like a $10 value, but okay, why not? Better something free than nothing for free. I guess that's always good. You know, full disclosure, I have invested about 1,000 NEM, I think it was, yeah, about 1,000 NEM into this ICO. Just, you know, to get the NEM moving around and support the, you know, NEM-based projects more than anything. More than anything. Now, we're going to have a look at some of the cons here. So I participated in the ICO, but I'm not sure I'll put any more money into this during the ICO later. I think 1,000 NEM is enough for me for now. There's plenty of other projects that, you know, I've got my attention on and spending my money on. But let's look at the cons. I'm going to give you guys the full picture. I think Bankera's got a nice project going here. You know, I did invest my money personally. But what are some of the potential problems we could look at here? So, competition. I already told you guys I'm going to review Change tomorrow. And they're very professional looking. You know, I haven't had a full read through the white paper yet, but their white paper also, you know, looks very impressive. Actually a bit more, but much more impressive looking anyway, than Bankera's white paper. So we'll have a really good look at this tomorrow to get a really good picture of how strong the competition is. And of course, they are not the only ones with the idea of blockchain-based banking services. You know, obviously Omise Go and Metal Pay, yes, they're different. They're different. They're not, you know, completely comparable to what Bankera is offering, but, you know, the space of digital payments and digital wallets and all these things is, you know, getting a bit crowded. Getting a bit crowded here, guys. So, and again, as mentioned, of course, you know, 10x has got the superior card deal at the moment compared to SpectroCoin's card. Of course, maybe the Bankera card, when it comes out, will have different terms of service. Something you can keep an eye out for. Now, another thing to take in mind here is that, here we go, is that they don't have their bank license yet. It's one of the things they're going to pay for with the money from the ICO, but they don't actually have that yet, and it's going to take them about 2 years to get. If we look here at the roadmap, yeah, so they will be able to only obtain their banking license at the earliest by Q1 2019, guys. It's a long, long time away before they actually start doing the banking stuff. So this is a really long hold on this one. Of course, you can always just speculate and, get the coins, try and sell them, at a higher price shortly after the ICO. Or if you are going to be holding this one, it's a very long hold because their main function isn't going to be going for a long time. And of course, the question is, well, what if there's a problem? What if they can't get the license? Or what if they can't get the license until 2020, for example? Those are some serious concerns as an investor going into it. Problematic. It's problematic. So, of course, and another thing is that it's a very long-term project. You won't see your money back on this. Again, the coins will be in the market. They'll be speculative in that way. But, as far as a working bank with all the working features you'd like from a bank, it's a very long-term project, guys. Longer term than I would like to see, but the reality is that it does take a while to go through the process and get these licenses and do all the bureaucracy. That's kind of just the way it is. I wish they had, started on that a bit earlier, but I understand from their perspective they wanted to make sure that they actually have enough people who are interested in the product, and that's why they do the ICO, right? Also, one other criticism, I think the white paper really could be a bit better. It's a bit short on specifics and facts, and it tells a nice story, but I've seen way more technical, way more interesting white papers that give a lot more detail about the specifics of the project. So there's that aspect as well. Anyway, guys, that's all for me on the Bankera ICO review. I want to know what you guys think. Have you gotten invested already in the Bankera ICO? Is it something that you will be investing in during the pre-ICO? Are you going to wait for the ICO? Or are you just staying away from this one, guys? Let me know what you think in the comment section down below. I'd be really curious to hear it. Anyway, guys, that is all from the CryptoLark. Thanks so much for tuning in. Long live the blockchain. And peace out till next time.